Hey folks, what's going on? Can you imagine creating an in-ear monitoring solution just with your mobile phone for free and it's wireless on top? I mean, there are companies out there charging for these solutions 1,500 euros. And every digital mixer has its own bus that you can hook up with cables to a mixing station that alone costs 200 euros, right? So this solution is basically almost for free. And here's how it works. So all you need is your mobile phone and an application called Sonobus. Okay, you will install Sonobus on all your phones. You will install Sonobus on one of your computers. So you need a computer for it. I've used an old Mac from 2020 that did the job brilliantly for my band. Okay, you install Sonobus there as well. The only thing that you need to do, you will hook up your digital mixer to your computer, right? I have a Behringer XR18, which costs about 450, 500 euro. And then you can basically plug in all your microphones, your drum microphones, your guitars, your basses, right, in there. And then you have I have 17 channels that I route to my band basically. And everyone can mix every channel like he or she wants, okay? You can put reverb onto it, it's stereo, it's crisp audio quality. It's just fantastic. And the nice thing is you can even use old phone. This is an iPhone 6 that you can buy on eBay for 30 bucks, okay? And that does the trick, which is fantastic. You don't even need a decent wireless router. I have an old Ubiquiti router, which was a good one at the time, but it's 5 years old, okay? Which is Wi-Fi 5 still, because we don't send much information over the air. So if you have 17 channels, it's around 1 megabit, 1.2 megabits per second. And a Wi-Fi 5 router can do 100 megabits per second. Okay, so you can hook up a couple of phones wirelessly over the air without having problems, because we're squeezing down the information that needs to be sent a lot. So Sonobus just needs 96 kilobits per second per stream, which is phenomenal, and it still sounds great. Okay, so first, what I'm going to do is show you how to set up Sonobus on your Mac or on your PC. Basically, it's the same interface, right? I just need to connect your digital mixer, and then I will show you how to connect on your mobile phone, and then I will show you how it sounds in real life. So you can literally feel the latency that is introduced by this, but it's neglectable. So once you're in it, once you're in your monitoring bubble, you will hardly realize the latency if you played for 10 minutes or so with your bandmates. And this makes this solution just fantastic. I know that the paid solutions that are out there, you know, that charge 1,000 euros or more, have still less latency, maybe, yeah. But I could get it down here with a wireless connection to 11 to 12 milliseconds, and with a wired connection to below 10 milliseconds, which is almost nothing, okay? As audio beams are very slow, right? If you're standing like 6 meters behind your loudspeaker, there's already some latency, also live. So if you're below 10 milliseconds, I think most people can cope with it. So have fun, and here we go.
All right, so you can download Sonobus from the internet for free, install it on your PC or on your Mac, connect your multi-channel digital mixer. So in my case, it's the Behringer XR18 that I'm using, right? That has, as it says, 18 channels, although only 16 are shown here in the mixer, digital mixer. and you might want to set up, all your bands here first, right? So that you can do also a live mix with it. But then you can use this setup as well to stream it to your bandmates if you want to do in-ear monitoring. The way how you do it is basically you create a setup in Sonobus, and then you will save the setup. And for later users, you will just reload it, and you can start right away. So this is basically your host where you will be sending your audio signals from. Okay, so that one is not being used as a in-ear monitoring end device, but just as the sender device. Okay, so first of all, go to your settings and make sure you choose the right input. So in my case, I could choose several inputs here. So make sure you choose the right input. That's the first thing. Then say select all on the input channels, select on the output channels. Although we don't send anything or use the output really, choose your sample rate and make sure you go down as low as possible. So in my case, I went for 0.3 milliseconds. This is an old Intel based Mac from 2020. It still does it, right? So in the end, I tried it also on a, I think, 10-year-old PC, and it also worked as soon as it has, a decent CPU, not the slowest one, and some SSD drives in it. From the options perspective, the default sound quality looks very low, like 96 kilobits per second. Right? You could go all the way up to PCM 24-bit. However, that if you multiply this by 16, it would send too much stuff over the network, so your mobile devices couldn't handle it. So you will be surprised how good the quality will be with just 96 kilobits per second. It's amazing. Okay, leave all the other settings as they are. Don't mess around. You can actually record here as well. You can choose the format like FLAC, WAV, or OGG. And if you want to have 16 or 24-bit, basically, you can choose if you want to record the full mix, which makes sense, right? If you're playing with your band and other stuff. So then you have to open up the input mixer. That's the most important and critical thing you want to see. And there you are. There's everything that I have prepared. So in my case, I want to clear it completely and want to start from scratch. Remove all input groups. Yes. Bam. Everything's away. Okay, wiped. So this is how it would look like in your case. Okay, so now let's go and create our groups. So first of all, you can use your mixer app to know which channel is which. So we're gonna start with vocals 1, 2, and 3 basically. So we press plus, choose mono in this case, and call this, guess what, Vox 1. Okay, plus mono Vox 2, plus mono Vox 3. You get the point. However, be aware, something is coming. So we got the acoustic guitar, and then we've got a stereo channel. So first do mono acoustic, and then plus stereo. Got it right for keys. And then you can basically turn that. Yeah, you will basically see the panning right here. It does it left, right, okay, automatically. Okay, then I think it's all mono. So the e-guitars, bass, and drums, it's all mono. Okay, so you get the point. I will not show you all the thing. I will just load my setup. Okay, if you're done, just make sure you save your setup. Give it a descriptive name somewhere. Okay, and in my case, I have set everything up here. Bam. Here we are. So I don't have to do all this kind of work each and every time we want to rehearse, right? I just do it once, save it, and we're good to go. So in this case, we can just now go and start sending our mix to our peers. So we don't want to monitor anything. We don't want to fiddle around with the effects, because they would only be effective on our monitoring for this box, right? It wouldn't send the effects to our peers, okay? That will connect to this channel. You have to do your effects on each and every end device. That's very important to know. So just say connect, choose a private group, unless you want to stream your whole thing to the internet. We don't do this, right? Give your group a name. That's the name of my band. This is basically your display name, so all the others will see this as your name, basically, and then say connect group, okay? And here we are. We're sending our stuff to our peers, right? So we're good to go, and now we can set up our mix on our end devices. That's everything you need to worry about. Make sure to have your PC or Mac connected via an Ethernet cable. Don't use wireless, full stop. However, I've turned wireless on, it's still on, but if you have configured an additional Ethernet adapter, like here, where's network, found it, like an additional Ethernet adapter, okay, it will automatically use that one. It will give preference to that one. Usually the same thing on Windows and Linux as well, where you could run this as well. Because Sonobus is available, by the way, for every platform that you prefer. You can reset your latencies for every device, like by pressing this button. Resets jitter buffer to the minimum, right? So I have still, you know, my old iPhone 6 connected here, and you can see latency is pretty decent because that one is connected via an Ethernet cable as well. Okay, so in this case, you can see the whole thing, like the 17 channels are just requiring 1100 kilobit per second, which is roughly 1 megabyte per second. So basically nothing, which helps to run this also on very old devices. And I will show you how the end device basically looks like, and how you have to set up your end device in order to receive this multi-channel thing. Maybe speaking of multi-channel, the default in Sonobus will be send mono. So you have to change this, obviously, to send multi-channel in order to be able to send, you know, like 17 channels here. Okay, so make sure you look at that as well. Yeah, and that's it. Now save your setup. That's very important. And just reload it whenever you want to rehearse. You could even fire up Logic, for example, and record your whole show in Logic as well. Okay, because the Mac can do this on a PC. It's not that easy, right? But on a Mac, that's quite nice. But you can also press like the recording button here. It will not record for every track. However, it will record the whole show, basically. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And I hope you enjoy the video. Now we go on with the end devices.
The key for getting low latency when doing monitoring is basically using an adapter, like an Ethernet adapter and an Ethernet cable, and having an old device like an Apple iPhone 6, for example, that can run the Sonobus application, where you can directly plug in your earplugs, right? And then connect to your computer via Sonobus. So this is the app. And in the app, you can basically connect to your computer. You will get your mix. So in my example, you can see guitars, vocals and stuff. So basically, that mix is having like 17 channels, okay, that are all transferred to the app. And then you can basically mix in the app at every end device how you want to listen to it. Most importantly, turn off basically your own signal. You don't want to send your audio, which is would go through this microphone. So turn this off. That this is red, right? And then connect to your channel, your private channel, basically that you set up on your computer by pressing here and then choosing the channel, basically, and then it will give you, in my case, this 17 channel mix, and you can open up here, and then you can basically create some effects. So you can then go down here, turn on a reverb, and then put that reverb on the vocals, for example. So I have some noise gate on here, I have some compressor on, and that really sounds decent, right? You can do your panning where you want to have each and every one. You can do your leveling and stuff, right? If you have drums, it's very important that you can also go and do your drum mix. So for example, here's the bass drum. So usually on a bass drum, I put some EQ, so 63 hertz, I bumped this up a little bit, and 6,300, that's the 63 rule, right? So 63 hertz and 6,300 hertz. So bump these up a little so you will get the kick and you get the bass drum sound really nice, right? So yeah, that's actually what you can do with it. You can put some reverbs on the snare, for example, and on the toms if you like it, and stuff like that, right? And if you want to record the whole show, right, you just press this recording button and it will record everything for you on this end device where you can listen to it later, which is fantastic. So basically for nuts, you get a real cool, decent monitoring solution where you can do the mix on your mobile phone. And you can get these old Apple iPhones basically for $30 or something, right? So this is really nice. The newer ones that have the USB-C, they don't have the headphone jack anymore, right? So you would need an adapter that runs Ethernet and the headphone jack. But I had some bad, adapters there that didn't really work. So in the end, I reverted back to the old phone that has the jack already, and got these adapters for basically $15. You can even load your iPhone, so charge your iPhone here, right? By entering with a Lightning connection that has some power. So the power doesn't go away while you're playing. Okay. Yeah, that's all from the end user perspective. Sometimes this thing ends up overloading. I found out that this is because of the reverb. So if you take that away, let me try it. Bam, then it works, okay? So that's a learning. If you have the Zeta reverb, there's some bug in Sonobus or something. So just re-enable it, then everything will be fine, okay? You can even turn this off. So for example, you can do like this when you're playing, right? So you save on your battery, but you still hear everything clear and crisp through your headphones. And most important, basically from a settings perspective, is that you go here in the settings, you choose your headphones, you choose your hertz rate, basically, which is 48 kilohertz in my case, and then take this down as low as possible. So in my case, 64 samples. That reduces latency. All right, folks, so this is an end device, an old iPhone 6 that you can buy on eBay for $30, okay? That still has a good old audio jack, right? And I run it through a cable to a speaker, okay? I have opened Sonobus and I'm connected via Wi-Fi, which is this Ubiquiti Wi-Fi 5 router, so not even a decent one. It's like 5 years old. But since I'm only using 96 kilobits per second per channel, it's not too much that has to be sent over the wire. And as you can hear, my latency is around 10 to 12 to 11 milliseconds. So I set the jitter buffer to 6 milliseconds manually, okay, which can be a bit scratchy sometimes, so you could set it to 8 milliseconds. Then you will end up with 11 to 13 milliseconds total latency. But if you're in your bubble, in your in-ear monitoring bubble, you will hardly notice, so you can cope usually with this kind of latency, okay? Especially if you are used to making online music with Sonobus or channels, then you have to deal with like 30 milliseconds latency. So if everyone in the band uses this, right, you can play still tight. I mean, we've done this for years now on channels, and it works. Although it's a bit strange at the beginning, but then it's a lot of fun. And so you can use your whatever phone you have, where Sonobus runs. It could be Android, it could be iPhone. And just use these devices to do your mixing, your in-ear monitoring mixing, but just opening up here and then scroll down and do all the panning and the volume and the effects. So if I now press the effects button, fat fingering, here we go. You can hear? So we're gonna have some reverb on the vocals as well. So you just need to put your in-ear monitors in here and off you go, right? So if you have a band rehearsal room, you just could buy, like, for every bandmate, one old device that still has an audio check, and just load them before the rehearsal so that they can, like, work for 2 or 3 hours, and just put it in your pocket and you're good to go with a wireless in-ear monitoring solution for nuts. You basically just pay only the device once and you get a Wi-Fi 5 router or 6 router in your band rehearsal room, and you're good to go, right? So this is less expensive than any other solution on the market. They usually charge beyond €1,000 or dollars. Now, if you even want to get better latency, you can of course connect a cable adapter for your LAN. So I've bought a Lightning to LAN adapter for €17, like you can see here. Okay, and hooked it up to this old iPhone 6. Okay, and you can see the downstream is 6 milliseconds now. The ping is 1 millisecond. I could set the jitter buffer to 3 milliseconds. Okay, so this is basically 6 milliseconds. If you you can hear sometimes some scratched noise, so I could increase it to 4 or 5, maybe the jitter buffer. But then still, it's below 10 milliseconds, which is almost nothing. I mean, you can hear it, right? So I'm getting the audio signal over the air, over this cable now, right? And I put it to the monitor, and you can hear me basically talking live, and the signal that runs through Sonobus. There's almost almost no noticeable latency. Of course, good ears can hear that. But as I said, if you are in your in-ear monitoring bubble, you can cope with it usually. So the bandmates can cope with it. Even bandmates that are not used having this kind of latency, after a while, they will be able to play. And I mean, if you can afford additional, €17, you can even get this latency down to 6, 7, or 8 milliseconds, right? All right, folks, that concludes my demonstration of the solution. I hope you enjoyed it. It might not be the best YouTube quality. I'm no YouTuber, but I want to record it for myself so that I don't forget it. And yeah, I think it's a great thing to do. You wouldn't use that live, obviously, if you play with your band in a professional settings, right? You get some decent in-ear monitoring solution, but for the budget and for the rehearsal room, I mean, it's just fantastic, right? It just does the job, and I think it's a great solution. So leave me some comments, leave me a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what your experiences are. I would be curious to see who is using this as well. And big shout out and kudos to the developers of Sonobus for creating this great application as well. Have fun and see you.